We are live. We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. Please, if you can be so kind, do me a favor. I want you to hit that like button, hit that share button. I want you to tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know on this favor-filled, fabulous, beautiful, amazing Friday. We are right here live from the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. So please, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button, hit that share button. Also, I want you to put in the comments where you're watching us from today, wherever you're watching us, wherever you're viewing us from. Please put in the comments, let us know where you're at. And also, I want to make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube page. We are somewhere around 7,300 subscribers, if I'm not mistaken. Let me give you we have 7,354 subscribers as of today's live show. And we want to get to 10,000 subscribers on our YouTube page. So for those of you that are watching us and viewing us, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube page, please, would you be so kind, subscribe to my YouTube page. I want to get to 10,000. We're at 7,354. I know we can get, approximately 46, something like that. So we got about 2,600 more subscribers we need. So I want you to subscribe to my YouTube page. Please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. You don't stop. And all of the platforms, you can find me at Ramon Preston. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. I'm your host, Ramon Preston. Every Monday through Friday, no matter what I'm doing, I make sure that I carve out time at 12 o'clock noon to show up here on the Ramon Preston Show to give you the game, to help you properly start, structure, and at some point scale your business. Maybe it's a ministry or just your income streams. That's what we do here on the show. We share information with you. We give you valuable insight into the things that you need to do in order to succeed economically. That includes your business, your ministry, your personal finances. And if you don't know, as a business and financial consultant, that's what we do here at Ramon Preston Enterprises every day. We consult clients, we coach and mentor clients. We have students that are enrolled in our online university, and we have people who are being trained on a day-to-day basis to learn how to start and structure real successful businesses, income streams, ministries. We do it all. So today I want to take a few minutes, and I'm probably going to be short today, maybe about 30 minutes, because I have a lot of things that we're doing today before we leave the office, especially because we have 4th of July coming up. So that's a national holiday. And I don't want to overwork anybody, even though I'm going to probably be here working myself on Monday. So we want to make sure that we can have a good 3-day weekend and get everything done. So I'm going to take about 30 minutes. I'm going to do my best to stick to the time. But today I want to talk to you about the top 5 reasons for starting a holding company. The top 5 reasons for starting a holding company. Now, I know there are a lot of people out on social media that, I don't know if it's a lot, but you know, we have a few people on social media that talk about holding companies and they share a lot of information. I have some clients and students that have followed other people on the internet and they've gotten some valuable information, and I can only go by what I'm told. Like, I ask all of my clients and customers, and even people who are not clients and customers, I ask them for feedback. And most of the feedback that I get from people who share feedback with me, I'm talking about people who are either attending our workshops, our masterminds, people who are students in our Millionaire Blueprint. We have clients that are being mentored by us and coached by us. And most of them who give me feedback about what we teach on the holding company, most of them tell me that I go further in depth on explaining how to use a holding company, how to start it, how to structure it, and how to really run it, and the benefits of it they say to me, I go a little bit deeper than a lot of the people that they hear on the internet. So that's a big thumbs up for me. I'm glad to hear that. And so today I want to talk to you about the top 5 reasons for starting a holding company. The top 5 reasons. And I'm saying the top 5 reasons because I have a lot of information that I share about the holding company. I have done a lot of research. I have had a lot of experience. I have started a lot of holding companies for clients. So I know a good little bit about them, and I share a lot about them. And I talk to other people like tax strategists and CPAs and attorneys and other experts who deal with companies and clients that have holding companies, just to get some insight. So I want to share these top 5 reasons for starting a holding company with you. Now, there's a saying, you probably heard it before. There's a saying about trees, and the saying is this: the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Have you ever heard that? That's a saying. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. And the second best time to plant a tree is today. Well, I feel the same way about businesses, especially holding companies, the way some people do about trees. I feel like the best time to start a business, particularly a holding company, was 20 years ago when you first thought about it. The second best time is today, especially the times that we're in. So here are my top 5 reasons for starting a holding company. And I'm not gonna go real deep into all of them because I'm only gonna be doing this teaching and this show for about 30 minutes today. But I'm gonna go deep enough just to give you a sense of understanding and to let you see that, hey, I know what I'm talking about, and I have way more information than just what I'm gonna be sharing with you today. All right, so my top 5 reasons for starting a holding company. Reason number one, my first reason is because your business, or in this case your holding company, it is your legacy. Okay? So this is my number 1 reason why you should start a holding company, or my number 1 reason for starting a holding company is because your business or your holding company is your legacy. A lot of people don't think about this word here, period, especially when they start businesses or especially when they start a side hustle. A lot of people are not thinking about their legacy, but it's important for you to understand your legacy. Now, the reason why I say your business is your legacy or your holding company is your legacy is because number 1, even if you don't run the day-to-day operations of a business, or even if you're not intending to be a business owner with a business operation that's selling products and services, it doesn't mean you still can't own a business. You can actually own a business and just run certain transactions like your investments and things that you want to do for the purpose of your legacy through your business. I always encourage my clients and students, even if you're just starting a business for legacy purposes, it's always to your advantage to start a business for legacy purposes. Now, I'm one of those bosses and I'm one of those business owners that, you know, if you want to start a business and you want to run your business and you want to sell products and services, have at it. But I'll be the first to tell you, especially if you are working for other business owners and entrepreneurs, don't be starting businesses trying to compete or trying to create conflict with the people you working for. You want to make sure that when you do have a job and you are an employee, that you are actually working for someone who can not only educate you on these things, but who can show you how to do it the right way so that there's no competition or conflict of interest. So I don't want to get away from that. But if you're just a full-fledged, thoroughbred entrepreneur and you know being a business owner is your thing, then have at it. Go out there and start a business, but make sure that you have your legacy in mind. This is why you want to start a holding company, because your holding company is a legacy company. So the first reason for starting a holding company is because your business or your holding company is your legacy. So when you get ready to run your business, when you get ready to sell products and services and start operating entities, or even when you get ready to invest, if you have a holding company, it's easier to start an operating entity under it or just do some investing through it. The purpose of the holding company is to hold. So you can hold stocks, hold bonds, hold companies that own real estate, hold ownership interests or shares of other companies in your holding company. So that's reason number one, okay? Reason number two for starting a holding company, and this is something that you're probably going to hear a lot of people talking about today because it's very, very popular. Reason number two for starting a holding company is because of, I'm going to just simplify this answer, the greatest wealth transfer. The greatest wealth transfer. As a matter of fact, I got another point I'm going to make about the first reason, but I'll come back to it. Reason number two for starting a holding company is because of the greatest wealth transfer. I don't know if you're hearing people talk about it or not, but right now in this current generation, we are a part. I ain't say we going to be a part. We are a part of the greatest wealth transfer ever in the history of the world. This is what's happening right now. There's a great wealth transfer that's taking place. Now, how is this wealth transfer taking place? Well, this wealth transfer is taking place primarily through mergers, acquisitions, buyouts, retirements, and successions. So what's happening right now, it's estimated that within the next 25 years, there's going to be about $70 trillion. 70 trillion. Do you see that number? With a T. Within the next 25 years. I want you to see that number. This is what experts are projecting and estimating. Within the next 25 years, there's going to be about $70 trillion transferred from one generation of people to the next generation of people. So this might be, the generation who's running things right now. They may be in their 60s or 70s or 80s or 90s. They may be baby boomers. They may even be in their 50s, right? But this wealth transfer is going from this generation to this generation. And within the next 25 years, it's going to be about $70 trillion that goes from this generation who might not even be around in 25 years, or who may be at an age where they don't want to work. They don't want to run businesses. They don't want to move and shake and hustle and grind like a lot of us who might be in our 30s and 40s or early 50s are doing. So I want you to understand this greatest wealth transfer is the second reason why you should start a holding company, because most of this wealth, this 70 trillion that's going to be transferred in the next 25 years, is not going to be transferred from person to person. It ain't like granddaddy just transferring you over $100 million or $20 million or $500,000. No, a lot of these transfers I just mentioned to you are going to take place through mergers, businesses merging, acquisitions, one business purchasing another business, buyouts, one business buying out the shares of another business, retirements. Granddaddy or whoever this is, grandma, she's retiring, they're retiring, they don't want to run the business no more. And also succession. So you have one person who's being trained to run this business and they're going to take over. So what's happening is this wealth transfer is really going to be moving through papers that are connected to businesses. So if you have a holding company and you have a business set up the right way, when these transfers start taking place, you're going to already be a step ahead because you're going to put yourself in a position to be a part of these transfers. Now, this 70 trillion is going to be estimated to be transferred in the next 25 years. These experts are also saying within the next decade. It's 2022. So what they're saying is by 2030, or 2032, within the next 8 to 10 years, half of this is going to be transferred. So imagine in the next 10 years, 30 to 35 trillion dollars with a T going from one generation to the next generation. So you got to put yourself in position, because if you just living your life and existing, it don't mean nothing gonna come to you. Everything is moving through trust. Everything is moving through holding companies, acquisitions, mergers, succession of businesses, transference of assets into other companies. They're creating new entities. So you got to get in the game. This is the second reason why you should start a holding company. All right. Number 3, let me get through this because I don't want to miss anything in the few minutes that I have. Number 3, the third reason. Reason number 3 is because of what I call the 4 P's. This is the third reason why you want to start a holding company, because of the 4 P's. I teach this in my courses also. So we have protection, we have preservation, we have production. These are the 4 P's. I teach this in my holding company course. And then we have purchasing power. So this is the third reason why for starting a holding company, because of the 4 P's. Number 1, protection. Of course, it's going to protect you, because if you have a holding company set up and then you have an operating entity that's separate from the holding company, but is owned by the holding company, number 1, you're going to be protected up here. Your holding company is going to be protected that owns assets if anything happens with any of these 2. This is how you protect yourself. Preservation. What do you mean by preservation? Well, this type of structure, it preserves the integrity of your intellectual property. That's IP, because your IP may be owned by your holding company. It's going to preserve the integrity of your trademarks. If you have trademarks here, your copyrights. It's going to preserve the integrity of your ownership interests. Anything that you have that's of value that's owned by your holding company, it's going to be preserved, because these things are not going to be owned by your operating entities, even if your operating entities are using them. Okay, now I know I can't go into detail. I teach it all in my program, but I want you to understand that all this stuff here, your intellectual property, your trademarks, your copyrights, your proprietary processes, all these things can be leased or used by these other operating entities, but they don't have to be owned by them. That's preservation. The third P is production. What do you mean by production? Well, you can get more done when you're doing it this way, because now you really learn how to become an asset manager, because your holding company is really an asset manager of other assets, and you become the manager of that asset. So you learn asset management. You learn the fundamentals of wealth building. You learn how to really become more productive even in your operating businesses, because you're not stuck down here trying to operate a business. You're actually running a business conglomerate. So that's where the production comes in at. And then purchasing power. The purchasing power is simple, because if this company is making money and this company is making money, and all of this money, or at least the profits, can be passed through to the main company, this one main company has more purchasing power, because it can take all of the income that's coming in from these other entities and use it on its general ledger or its main balance sheet. So that's reason number 3 for starting a holding company. I'm giving y'all the game right here, right now, on the Ramon Preston Show, for all y'all that's looking for new ways to expand your businesses. You heard about the holding company, you're trying to figure out how it works. I'm giving it to you. Those are 3 of the 5 reasons. All right, reason number 4 for starting a holding company. I'm gonna give you 2 words: for consolidation for consolidation and centralization. So what do you mean by consolidation? Well, when you own subsidiaries under a holding company, again, when your holding company is here and your holding company owns subsidiaries like this, it's consolidated, it's centralized. Even though you got to have separate accounts for all of these, you want to have a separate QuickBooks account, you may have separate operations, everything is going to be separate because these are separate entities, but the holding company can consolidate them because now they're all working under the banner and the umbrella of the parent company. So even if you have a team of people who are helping you manage the holding company that's managing the managers of these other companies, it just makes it easy. But even if you're just a solopreneur and you got 4 or 5 different things going on, this could be 4 different companies right here, but because 3 of them are under one and they all have separate accounts and separate operational systems and financial systems and sales and marketing systems, it's still in a consolidated, centralized manner. So this is a powerful, powerful reason why you want that holding company concept, because now you're able to separate your operations, but even though they're separated legally and even systematically, they're still consolidated and centralized because they're all running up to the main parent organization. And here's my 5th reason, reason number 5. Just in case you have any questions on what I'm sharing with you so far, feel free to send me any questions. You could drop the questions in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. I mean, it's probably one of the most common topics that people ask me questions on. So reason number 5 for starting a holding company is for strategic allocation and distribution of funds and assets. This is the 5th reason why you should have a holding company, or this is the 5th reason for starting a holding company, because of strategic allocation and distribution of funds and assets. So again, if I show you my example of the holding company here, and this holding company has subsidiaries or operating entities, how does this give you the advantage for strategic allocation of and distribution of funds and assets? Well, again, if your holding company owns intellectual property and your operating entities need access to that intellectual property, well, you can allocate or distribute those rights to these different entities, and these entities can pay your holding company a royalty fee or a licensing fee. Let's say if you got certain funds, money, that one of your companies brought in and it was pushed up or passed through to your holding company, but there's another company that's operating that doesn't have the financial backing, your holding company can easily loan company number 2 or 3 some money that probably initially came from company number 1. Now, some of these transfers or reallocations, you got to check with your tax person, because they gonna let you know if in fact some of these transactions are non-taxable events or taxable events, because some people get tricked on thinking everything is a non-taxable event when everything is not a non-taxable event. But it's always best, before you make any strategic allocation or distribution of something, for you to just run it by your tax person. Now, if you don't have a tax person, you need to find a tax person, and you need to make sure that your tax person is on a retainer at least, meaning that you could pay them every month or every quarter, and you can easily call them, send them an email. They're probably busy. They ain't gonna be on the phone with you all the time. You send them an email with 3 or 4 questions. They're gonna answer those questions. I do the same thing all the time. But this is the 5th reason for starting a holding company: strategic allocation and distribution of funds and assets. So again, if you are thinking about starting a business, or if you know that it's a part of your destiny to start a business, I always recommend that your first business should be a holding company. I was just reading a report of a company that's probably like, I think this particular company I was reading a report on, this company was like maybe 60 or 70 years old. It's a very, very solid company, but it's a family company, and it may even be older than that. I'm not 100% sure. I missed the years on it, so I don't want to try to guess what the age of the company was. But I'm bringing it up because the family just recently, the family that's running it, they just recently realized that their main operating business is no longer the way the world is anymore, because it's like an old business. It may be 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, right? And they took it as a family business. But because they have been running it like just a regular business or corporation, they really didn't think about, let's say, concepts like the holding company. But now, because they have so many different assets and real estate, and they got farmland and so forth and so on, once they sat down with professional people, these professional people told them, now we need to restructure your whole organizational enterprise with the holding company so that we can reset what you all as a family are doing moving forward. So this is why I'm always talking to small business owners, because when you're a small business owner, you're a startup, you're just a solopreneur, sometimes you don't understand the value of making sure your first business is a holding company, because you feel like, man, I ain't got no money. My main business ain't making no money, and I don't know enough about operations and accounting, and I don't want to get in trouble with the IRS. Well, all that means is you just need to educate yourself. It just means you need to start learning how to run a business and build a successful business. See, if you want to own a business, if you want to own a business, okay, if you want to own a business, even if you're not running the business, you still need to learn how to build the business. You got to learn how to build the business. And this is something that you have to get disciplined to do, and that is to continue learning how to build what you own. Because if you own a business and you ain't building it, because you're not learning, it ain't gonna build itself. And you ain't gonna never hire somebody to come in and build your business. You gotta build your business. You gotta be the one in front of all the building and learning and growing and changing and discipline. So my point is, your first business should be the holding company. And now that you have your holding company, you can start your operating entity, however many you want, and that all depends on what you have going on. But those reasons that I just shared with you are the main reasons. At least to me, they're the top 5 reasons for starting a holding company. Number 1, the reason is because your business is your legacy, right? Your business is your legacy. Your business is your legacy. So even if you don't start a business to run the business, because you don't really have a business to run, you don't have some type of product and service you're selling, well, sometimes just running certain investment activities through your business for legacy purposes, it works for you to have that business. Because even if it's not you, maybe it's your child, maybe it's your grandchild at some point, maybe your spouse may want to try something. At least you already have some type of system built, and you can start learning how to maintain the integrity of that legacy company. Reason number 2 is because we're part of the greatest wealth transfer ever in the history of the world. And so if these experts are correct when they say within the next 8 to 10 years, there's going to be about 30 to 35 trillion with a T transferred to this generation. From the generation in front of us to our generation, it's going to be about 30 to 35 trillion dollars transferred to us in the next 8 to 10 years. And within the next 25 years, it's going to be about 70 trillion transferred to us, right? So what that means is There's going to be acquisitions, mergers, successors. There's going to be business buyouts. There's going to be people retiring, and they want all the assets transferred to the next generation so that in the event they die or retire or no longer want to run whatever they running in their estates, they've got competent people. But a lot of this is not going to happen person to person. Ain't nobody just handing you $100 million. Ain't nobody handing you $10 million. Ain't nobody just handing you $1 trillion. That's going to be in the form of business systems and those types of transactions. So if you got one, guess what? You're going to be a part of something. Something is going to happen, and you're going to be able to run some of that activity through your business. Number 3 is because of the 4 P's. So when you have a holding company and you have operating entities under your holding company or divisions, guess what? You have protection, which definitely works when you have an operating entity that's owned by a holding company. That's protection, because now you own the holding company owns the operating entity. You're definitely protected, but your holding company is protected. So it's protection, it's preservation, because the goal is for your holding company to own all your intellectual property, all your IP, all your copyrights and trademarks, or your ownership interests. All these things, when they move up to your holding company and they're owned by your holding company, it just preserves the integrity and the longevity of them. Production, things can be more productive. I have a holding company, I have operating entities, I have divisions, and it just works very efficiently for me, and I'm able to produce more because of how I have it structured and set up. And purchasing power. Your holding company has all these assets, including other businesses. It just gives it more purchasing power, especially for financing purposes, or even for the purpose of getting funding or investors or partnerships to come in, because you have that power. All right. Number 4, the 4th reason is for consolidation and centralization. So you can have everything consolidated. Most of the times when you have multiple LLCs owned by one LLC, when your tax person does your taxes, they're going to consolidate those. They're going to make it easy for you so that everything is passed through up to the holding company, and then through the holding company up to you, and it kind of mitigates and offsets one business that makes money from a business that doesn't make money, one business that makes a lot that needs to pay taxes, and then you got depreciation over here or losses over here. So that consolidation and centralization is powerful. And then number 5, for strategic allocation and distribution of funds and assets. So when my holding company owns assets, intellectual property, copyrights, when it owns certain proprietary processes, certain technology, when it owns certain, when it has certain money and resources available, I can strategically allocate that to the operating entities based on what is needed and where the demand is. So it just makes allocation and distribution easier, so that all your operating entities can function and flow. And if one operating entity is winning and another operating entity is losing, well, the holding company kind of controls that narrative. So those are my top 5 reasons. I hope these top 5 reasons have brought some value to you. I have to go because I have a very, very busy day ahead. I don't have a whole hour to give you today. If you need more information on a holding company because you know you want to start one and you want to do it with as much professionalism as you possibly can, and you want to make sure you do it right, even if you already have a LLC, but you want to figure out how can you turn your current LLC into a holding company, or start a holding company and transfer the ownership of that current LLC to a new one. I want to give you access to my course. I have a course on how to start and structure a holding company. And in this course, I have an entire startup kit, which means I've got walkthrough videos and tutorials and the documents and the forms to show you step by step everything you need to do to properly start and structure a holding company, how to start and structure your divisions, how to start and structure your operating entities, how to run the day-to-day operations of it, and how to take this holding company and use it to your advantage so that you can succeed. So I want to give you access to that program today. It's only $497. We offering it for $497. It's really a $1,500 program. We offer it. We're offering it right now, and we've been offering it for the past several months for $497, just to give people in our community an opportunity to see. You can literally pay $500 and learn how to do all this yourself. It's going to cost you more to pay somebody to do that. Like, we have a department in our company that can file and form your paperwork. So if you want your holding company filed and formed, you're going to have to pay us $1,500 to do that. We'll draft your operating agreement. We'll make sure your EIN number is correct. We'll make sure your Secretary of State articles are correct. We'll make sure you have a holding company, but you're going to pay $1,500 for that. If you need us to do an operating entity for you, a regular LLC, either under the holding company or just separate from the holding company, that's going to be $1,200. That's going to be $1,200. I'm just showing you how much it costs. So if you wanted us to do just one holding company for you and one operating entity, you're going to have to pay us $2,700 to do that. So if you want to pay $2,700 to get your holding company filed and formed right, to get your operating agreement drafted, to get your resolution and all your articles correct, we'll do it. And it's going to cost you $1,500 for a holding company, $1,200 for operating entity. So that'd be $2,700. This is why we provide this program here for $497, because that's not even a fraction of what it costs to pay somebody like us to do it. You can actually learn all the ins and outs of it. And I guarantee if you, I can't guarantee, come on, this is social media, right? But I bet, I don't even know if I can bet, because that sounds like gambling. But let's just say this here. There's no way you're going to pay $500 for a whole entire program with a walkthrough tutorial, with videos, with documents, with forms to show you from A to Z how to do it, how to file and form it, how to run it, how to manage it, how to build it out, and you don't come out learning something and knowing how to do something. So I want you to take me up on this offer. If you would like to, all you have to do is text millionaire. I love the word millionaire because that's what I want you to be. And my hope and expectation is that when you do have your holding company started and structured correctly, that it can scale you into becoming a millionaire. So you can text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. 404-478-7213. So again, if you would like access to our holding company course and startup kit for $497, you see the number behind me, for $497, all you have to do is text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213, and we'll give you access to it immediately. You could start training today. I've had people to get access to this course on the holding company, and within a day or two, they've reached back out to me and told me they already filed and formed all their paperwork. They got their holding companies done, they got their operating entities done, and they ain't even like 2 days into the program. All right, so we make it real easy for you because we want you to be prepared for this wealth transfer that's coming up. So I love and appreciate all of you. Happy 4th of July to those of you that may not see me Monday. My goal is to be here Monday and to go live on a show for the 4th of July, whether people watch me on the live or not. So in the event that my wife or somebody talks me into doing something other than coming to work on the 4th of July, I'll see you Monday. If not, I'll see you Tuesday right here on the Ramon Preston Show. Have an amazing Friday, an amazing 4th of July evening. Be safe.